Commissioner Louie Minor. Today is May 4th, 2025. May the 4th be with you. We have a lot to cover, including the May elections that just occurred yesterday on the 3rd. But let's get started with the agenda for Bell County Commissioners Court, May 5th, 2025. First thing we have is the invocation, then Pledge of Allegiance, consent agenda items, consider approval minutes of the April 21st, 2025 meeting of the Bell County Commissioners Court. Then we have personnel budget amendments, claims, accounts payable, payroll, restitution, jury pay. And then we have item BA on the consent agenda. Consider authorizing a single source purchase for the MVAC forensic DNA collection system from MVAC Systems in the amount not to exceed $56,078 to be purchased for the Bell County, for the Sheriff's Office under FY 2024 Cox Technology and Equipment Program Invitational Solicitation Grant Award. Then item BB under consent agenda, consider approving Bell County Juvenile Services request to move positions from Department 988 to Department 609 and eliminate two unfilled positions in the Department 988 to fund a deputy from the Sheriff's Office to provide safety services for juvenile services. Then we have County Engineer. Consider and approve final plat of Walls Estate being a 16.36 acre 4-lot 1-block subdivision located in Precinct 1. Then consider and approve final plat of Marshall Hillside Prairie Addition being a 50.57 acre 9-lot 2-block subdivision located in Precinct 1. Then consider and approve the final plat of Cullen Hill being a 110.32 acre 130 lot 4-block subdivision located in Precinct 2. Then consider and approve the preliminary plat of Two Chimneys Farms Phase 1 with construction plans being 49.240 acres 191 lots 13 blocks located in Precinct 2. Then consider and approve a final plat of Minor Flat Fannie Mae 2 being a 5.129 acre 1-block 1-lot subdivision located in Precinct 2. Then consider and approve the final plat of Rennick Castaneda Addition being a 2.507 acre 1-block subdivision located in Precinct 3. And then finally, for the engineers, we have consider and approve the final plat of Geringer subdivision being 8.292 acre 2-lot 1-block subdivision located in Precinct 3. Then we have our regular agenda items. Item 5A, conduct a public hearing regarding the petition to consider the creation of Bell County Emergency Service District Number 3. 5B, consider granting a petition and fixing boundaries for the creation of Emergency Service District Number 3 to be known as Bell County Emergency Services District Number 3. Item 5C, consider calling the general election for the county judge for the purposes of creating Bell County Emergency Services District Number 3 to be held November 4th, 2025. Item 5D, consider the appointment of Spencer Smith of Harker Heights to fulfill an unexpired term on the Bell County Museum Board of Trustees. The unexpired term ends September 30th, 2025. Item 5E, consider authorizing county judge to sign Amendment Number 2 and notice to proceed to activate the existing contract RFP 04-23 Disaster and Storm Recovery Services between Bell County and Cirrus Environmental Services for waterway debris removal and disposal from Little Elm Creek at a cost not to exceed $687,000 with appropriate budget amendments. Then item 5F, consider authorizing the county judge to sign amendment number 2, notice to proceed to activate existing contract RFP 05-23 debris monitoring services between Bell County and Debris Tech to monitor the waterway debris removal and disposal from Little Elm Creek by Cirrus Environmental Services at a cost not to exceed $250,000 with appropriate budget amendment. Then item 5G, consider authorizing the county judge to execute agreements for legal services for the Bell County Veterans Treatment Court and Mental Health Court. Then item 5H, consider authorizing the county judge to enter into an agreement with R.L. Townsend and Associates to conduct construction audit services concerning the Bell County Loop Jail expansion project at a cost not to exceed $39,120 with appropriate budget amendment. And that is everything that we have for the regular agenda. Now let's go to our workshop agenda that will happen after our regular meeting. Let's see, we have received reports and updates from various county offices and departments, capital improvement project updates, update on jail expansion project and temporary jail facilities, Colleen Annex, Diversion Center renovations, discuss FY 2025 CIP plan. And then we have discuss project list for local assistance and tribal consistency funds. That'll be the grant administrator. Then mid-year review for new positions for our intake division to include 3 new ADAs, 1 new investigator, and 1 new legal assistant. And then C3, discuss intent to vacate property, grant administrator and central county services. Then C4, discuss unclaimed property tax credit. Item C5, closed session pursuant to Section 551.076, Texas Government Code, deliberations and deployment of specific implementation on security devices or personnel, discuss juvenile DSA grant project and facility security. And then item 6, closed session pursuant to 551.074 Texas Government Code to discuss and deliberate about officers and employment of governmental bodies relating to the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer. Direct reports to Bell County Commissioner's Court. And then let's see, we have, that's everything for the workshop. We do have our budget workshops kicking off, but so we have a lot of stuff coming up. I would just advise you to look at our agenda because at least the workshop agenda, because there are a lot of stuff on there regarding the budget meetings. Definitely far too many for me to get here on this. But yes, so there we go. County government in a minute or less, or a couple of minutes or less. So now let's get to our next item that I want to discuss. There are a couple of House bills that have a direct connection to both myself and Bell County that we kind of been tracking, and I wanted to share those with you. The first one we'll talk about is HB House Bill 4466. 4466 was filed by Representative Hicklin, and it's a very short and simple bill, but I'll read the bill in its entirety. At least the change that we're trying to do. It begins with a bill to be entitled an act relating to restrictions on the fee assessed for issuance of a certain birth record, it to be enacted by the legislature of the state of Texas, section 191.0046 Health and Safety Code is amended by adding section G to read as followed. The state registrar, on request of a county, shall issue without a fee a certified copy of a birth record to the county if the request is related to a suit affecting the parent-child relationship filed by a government entity under Subtitle E, Title 5 of the Family Code. This act takes effect September 1st, 2025. And so the origins of this bill was as county commissioner, I was appointed to the Bell County Child Welfare Board. And being on there, we go over the budget and all that stuff. The county gives the Bell County Child Welfare Board $25,000 a year to help meet the mission of helping kids that are taken from their home and put into foster care. But what I noticed was after the first year that we spent a lot of money on birth certificates. And I was like, well, why don't we get those waived from the county? Why are we paying that? And they was like, I don't know. That's just what has always happened. So I asked our county clerk, Shelley Costin, why we cannot waive those fees. Now, the law states right now that a child could get a free birth certificate, but they have to get it from the state agency in Austin. And it takes a while to get those. So when there's and you'll hear in the testimony, when a child is removed, they need that pretty quick. They can't wait weeks and weeks for a birth certificate to come in. So what CPS has been doing is they've been getting it from the county via the Child Welfare Board to pay for it. And so, it's the county is paying itself to pay the state. And it did make sense to me. So as a county commissioner, I go to Conference of Urban County meetings and Texas Association of Counties. I brought this issue to TAC, to CUC, Conference of Urban Counties, and told them during this legislative session, I would like help to address this issue. And thankfully, Representative Hicklin filed this on behalf of Bell County. We made it a legislative priority, and this is our bill. I'm happy to report that on May 1st, 2025, committee substitute considered in committee reported favorably as substituted. So it's out of committee now. So that's a win. That's the next step. So let me play Representative Hicklin laying out the building, and then I want, because I could not be there and no one else from the Commissioner's Court could be there on that day because we had a Commissioner's Court, and I was really disappointed because I wanted to be there for that. But I had some important issues. As you remember, we had Chaparral Road, and that was a whole long story in itself, but we did get we're doing stuff on Chaparral Road, and we'll dig into more on Chaparral Road in another episode. But let me play House Bill 4466 for you.
Chair lays out House Bill 4466 and recognizes Representative Hicklin to explain the bill.
Thank you, Chairman Van Teever, Vice Chair Campos, and members of the committee for giving me the opportunity to lay out House Bill 4466. When a state agency files suit to pursue a change of parental relationship status in a case of a child abuse or neglect, a certified copy of the child's birth certificate is necessary. Currently, the entity seeking to obtain the birth certificate must pay the cost associated with requesting the certified birth certificate. This places an unpredictable and, in some cases, significant financial burden on their resources. We are requiring organizations like Bell County Child Welfare Board, who you will hear from today, and are just trying to help children who are entering into the foster care system to bear a significant cost that comes from an action taken by a state agency. Waiving these funds would allow the Bell County Child Welfare Board and others like them to use those funds to buy things like diapers, clothes, and car seats, items that would directly benefit the children in need. House Bill 4466 allows a county to request that a state registrar issue a certified copy of a birth record to the county without a fee if the request is related to a suit filed by a government entity under the Child Protection section of the Family Code. I do intend on making changes that will address the fiscal note comments from the Department of State Health Services and clarify that the state would not have to take on any additional processing of birth certificates. I'm open to your suggestions and dialogue on this bill. I have witnesses here from the Bell County Child Welfare Board who can answer questions about their current process and explain why this change in law will be an improvement to their organization. Thank you again for your time, and I would like to reserve my right to close.
Okay, members, questions? Thank you. We will reserve the right to close. Chair calls Kim Wilkes and Veronica Molina. Okay, I show Kim Wilkes is the board treasurer for Bell County Child Welfare Board, testifying on behalf of Bell County Child Welfare Board for House Bill 4466. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Proceed.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. And I thank you all for considering this bill. I am strongly for it, mainly because we have a lot of kids with a lot of needs. And for something that's required, like a birth certificate, we feel that it would help us immensely if we could have a way where the funds are provided by the state instead of the burden being solely on the county. He had mentioned, the chairperson has spoken about, I'm sorry, this is my first time, our process. What we do is we have, last year alone, we had 294 birth certificates for just under $7,000. And our budget keeps shrinking and our needs keep growing. That for us, we don't have a lot of income. Our county commissioners do a wonderful job supporting us, but there's just some things that we cannot get if we use our funds to buy things that the state is requiring that each of these children have. And these things are not something that's a good idea to let sit and wait for weeks and weeks to get them, because especially we have kinship families, which are grandmothers who are on a fixed income who doesn't work, and they are depending on every penny they have, and now they have 6 grandchildren that they've taken on. And for them she can't pay for it by herself. She needs the assistance. She has to have those birth certificates in order to get them in school, in order to apply for the services that are available out there. So we step up. We help the CPS workers by providing the funds for these birth certificates. And that's why I'm really, really, really excited about this bill.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. Chair recognizes Veronica Molina.
Good afternoon.
Hang on just a minute. I show you testifying. You are the board vice chair for the Bell County Child Welfare Board, testifying on behalf of the Welfare Board for House Bill 4466. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon, committee members. I've been volunteering on the board for over 10 years. Ms. Wilkes has been volunteering for over 20 years with the Bell County Child Welfare Board. We're very passionate and we're champions for children. And the Bell County Child Welfare Board is a nonprofit organization. It's an affiliate of the Texas Council of Child Welfare Boards. We work directly with DFPS to fill in the gaps for children that come into foster care. On average, Bell County has about 30 children, new children, each month coming into foster care. And they often need essential new items like clothing, diapers, formula. And the Bell County Child Welfare Board ensures that these necessary items are available for children. And we don't use used items. Everything is brand new for the children. We want to express our strong support for HB 4466. Last year, as Ms. Wilkes mentioned, the board spent over $6,000 on purchasing birth certificates, and this has been ongoing for several years. We're here. We want to support the department because it's a barrier for them, and for the children to access services and needs and things like that for them to move forward in their case. And so we urge your support for HB 4466. If passed, we can redirect those funds and focus on, purchasing more essential items for children. Before the fiscal year is over, we tend to run out of funds. And if we had those $6,000, we could definitely help take care of those children. By the time we run out of funds, it's already August, and that's when kids are going back into school. And so, as you can imagine, backpacks, school supplies, these are children that don't have any of that. And they're leaving home with nothing. I'm sure you've heard of, leaving home with just a trash bag. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony.
So here you have a clear example of, working together, getting stuff done. Like I said, it's no secret that Representative Hicklin and myself see things differently, but on this issue, we're able to work together and address a real issue in the state to help our kids that are going through tough times. And thankfully, I was able to present an award from the Commissioner's Court Certificate of Appreciation to both Miss Molina and Miss Wilkes at the Child Welfare Board dinner last weekend. They were surprised, but well-deserved, because you heard what they did on behalf of Bell County going down and testifying. So this is an example of working together on good bills. Now we can talk about opposing bad bills. And it just so happens that Representative Hicklin has a bad bill out there. Well, there's more than just one bad bill, but this bad bill is directed at me. So, and we've had shows about this before, the flag in my offices, the flags and how all that happened. But anyway, she filed HB 3990 on the 24th of April. There was a committee hearing for it, and I'm going to play you, Representative Hicklin, laying it out, then some criticism she got from her own colleagues, and then I'll play my portion, my testimony. So buckle up. Oh, HB 4466. The changes are Section 2207.001. This chapter applies to buildings owned and operated by the state, a municipality, or a county. And then it says definition. Display means to exhibit or place an object where a person is visiting or employed at a building may see the object. Display of flags. A building may not display, and this state, a building may not display, and this state or a municipality or a county may not permit an employee, agent, volunteer to display any flag other than the United States flag, the state flag, or the official flag of the municipality or county. A United States flag or state flag displayed at a building of which this chapter applies must be an official flag, and the official colors may not be altered. And that's it. But let's hear Representative Hicklin laying this out.
5510 will be left pending. Is there objection? Chair hears none. House Bill 5510 is left pending. Chair lays out House Bill 3990. Chair offers up a committee substitute for House Bill 3990 and recognizes Representative Hicklin to explain the bill.
Thank you, Chairman King, committee, for the opportunity to lay out committee substitute for House Bill 3990. Last year, a concerned Texan reached out to the National Association of Christian Lawmakers after seeing an altered American and Texas flags displayed in the windows at the Bell County Courthouse. The association shared this with one of my colleagues who brought it to my attention. Despite Bell County's policy allowing only the U.S. and Texas flags to be displayed on county buildings, a loophole has allowed certain individuals to sidestep the rules and display symbols that undermine political neutrality. This moment made one thing clear. We need consistency and accountability statewide. Recently, Secretary of State Marco Rubio introduced a one flag policy, a move to ensure only the American flag is flown at U.S. facilities, both domestic and abroad. This federal action sparked a national conversation about how official spaces should reflect our shared values, not individual ideologies. In response, I filed this bill to protect the integrity of our taxpayer-funded entities. The committee substitute for House Bill 3990 will ensure that only official flags, the U.S., Texas, city or county flags, military, POW, MIA, and public university flags are displayed on government buildings. Under this bill, the U.S. and Texas flags must be unaltered and in their official colors. This legislation also gives the state, a municipality, or a county the authority to remove unauthorized flags and penalize violators. As a ninth-generation Texan whose ancestors fought for our independence, this issue is personal to me. The Lone Star flag isn't just fabric, it's freedom, perseverance, and heritage. Many flags have become symbols or ideologies for political agendas, and we protect the neutrality and dignity of taxpayer-funded entities. As elected officials, our duty is to serve and unify, not divide. We are working on a committee substitute to address concerns brought forward by a few cities, and I'll make sure to share that with everyone as soon as it's filed or finalized. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I reserve the right to close.
Questions for Representative Hicklin? Members, further questions? All right. Ms. Hicklin, you, this is an issue in you said Bell County?
That's right.
And has anybody else told you that a problem in their county? Or is this a bill you're bringing specifically for a problem in the county you represent?
Obviously it is a local issue, and it's persisted even though the county has tried to handle it locally. So it is, but it's also problematic across the state. And with Secretary Rubio's one flag policy, it was in alignment with even other states and some of the policies that they're putting in place as well.
Understood. Okay. All right. Mr. Gannon.
Ms. Hicklin, but to your knowledge, in Texas, has it been a problem anywhere except in Bell County? I think that was his question.
Okay, to my specific knowledge, no, I
Okay,
have not
thank you.
had. Okay.
Following up.
Oh, go ahead,
This is
Mr.
a
Darby.
Bell County elected official,
That's correct.
county commissioner.
That's right.
Well, if enough people don't like the flag, why don't they unelect him?
It's a possibility. He's here today. I'm sure you could ask him some of his
But
questions.
this whole bill is designed to get rid of a flag in one commissioner's office?
No, absolutely not. That was the impetus.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Ms. Hicklin, we will proceed with, you have some witnesses, as you can imagine. We'll proceed with public testimony, and we'll call you back shortly.
Okay, thank you.
None, thank you for being here. Louie Minor, you're Louie. We show you as Louie Minor. You are representing Bell County Precinct 4 and yourself, and you are against the bill. Is that correct?
I am.
Please proceed.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members and viewers at home. My name is Louie Minor. I'm the Bell County Commissioner for Precinct 4, and I oppose HB 3990. I represent about 100,000 Texans from the city of Killeen and Fort Cavazos. Many of my constituents are veterans. I am too, an Iraq veteran, serving 14 months in Baghdad in combat. and I fought for our freedoms of expression and our freedoms of speech. HB 3990 is an anti-speech bill. This bill will limit both you and I from displaying flags in our offices. Just like you know, it represents my community, represents my district. I'm the only openly gay county commissioner in the entire state of Texas, and I'm proud of that. And I will continue to be proud of that. This flag, I think, is being cleaned up, or this bill is being cleaned up, but there are historic flags, Blue Lives Matter flags, Israel flags, that Juneteenth flags that many of y'all put in y'all's office. This will eliminate that. Will this bill apply to government websites, social media accounts, police vehicles? And this bill also has a civil penalty in there. Who's going to bring that civil penalty? And what court will that be filed in? And, make no mistake, this is directed at pride flags and pride colors, because we're already talking about all these exceptions that we want to make here in this law. So I oppose this. I urge you to vote no on this as well.
Thank you for that testimony, Mr. Minor. Members, question, Mr. Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner, thank you for being here, and thank you for your service to our country, first and foremost. So you are a member of the Bell County Commissioners Court?
I am.
Okay. Are you familiar with the matter in question with
I'm
respect to?
very familiar with the matter.
Okay. Can you just describe the circumstances?
Yes, so I was first elected and took office in 2023. And in June, I had some residents reach out to me and wanted a pride proclamation at the county. We have never voted on any type of proclamations at the county. What we've always done is just bring a proclamation forward and have the proclamation. But whenever I brought that proclamation, the county voted it down. And that was the first time that ever happened. June is also Juneteenth, and I placed a Juneteenth flag and a pride flag in my office window. And the county, since then, passed a county use policy that only a U.S. flag, a state flag, or a county flag can be on a county building. So I took those flags down in compliance with our county policy and put up a U.S. flag and a Texas flag in pride colors. And they've stood there since then.
Okay. So this whole thing started because in the month of June, which is Juneteenth, as you observed, and also Pride Month, I believe you displayed a couple of flags reflecting those
Yes.
events. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
All right. Members, further questions? This witness. Seeing none. Mr. Minor, thank you for being here, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
So I think for HB 3990, you could hear from the last couple of questioning. Those are Republican House members, committee members that were asking those questions about, you're creating this bill just because of one county commissioner, and there are no problems anywhere else in the state of Texas. So as of now, that bill, HB 3990, is still left pending. And I don't know exactly when the clock ends as far as getting stuff out of committees, but I know it's pretty close. It's pretty close. So anyways, let's keep our fingers crossed. We'll keep an eye on HB 3990. And like I said, this is a clear example of where we can work with our local representatives when they have good bills and oppose those when they're bad. And that's our job. That's my job. That's what you elect me for, to get out there and be your voice and to show up and fight and testify when you can't. And I definitely am honored that you put me in this position to be able to do that for you, for us. So speaking of representation, yesterday, May 3rd, we had local elections. So let's go to the website and pull up and see what happened here locally in races that we are following that are in our area. By our area, I mean, Killeen area, precinct 4 area. So City Council District 1, Jessica Gonzalez, the incumbent. My district, I live in District 1. Jessica Gonzalez received 315 votes, and her opponent, Sherry Volpekela, received 262. So Jessica Gonzalez, Mayor Pro Tem, winning her reelection for that. Killeen Proposition B. Killeen Proposition B, that was for a new city hall, $155 million in bonds for a new city hall. That failed. We had 1,815 against, 1,114 for. Now, I voted for Proposition B. I thought it's good. No one is going to invest in Killeen but Killeen. So we have to believe in ourselves. We have to invest in ourselves. And we have to be able to understand that we can do more than one thing at a time. But that wasn't the case. Killeen City Council District 2, Councilmember Joseph Solomon won his reelection, 670 votes to Verlin Valentine, 223. So easily won there. District 3 was unopposed. No one filed to run against Councilmember Nina Cobb, so she won automatically. There was no race there. And then City Council District 4, Councilmember Boyd decided not to run for re-election. So this was an open seat. Anthony Kendrick came out on top against Christy Wilbanks. Anthony Kendrick got 330 votes, and Christy Wilbanks received 260. So then they also had Proposition A. Proposition A was a recall election for Councilman District 4, Michael Boyd. And it read, shall Michael Boyd be removed from the office of Killeen City Council by recall? We have 317 were for removing him from office, and 264 were against removing him from office. So even though this was his last seat or his last term, his term expires this election, he was recalled and removed by voters from office. So he did put out a couple of statements about this, and there's a lot of articles and a lot of back and forth between the person that brought the petition forward, former council member Melissa Brown, and then obviously Michael Boyd, council member Boyd's statements on that. Also, what we were watching, we had Killeen ISD. We had Killeen ISD place 2, incumbent Susan Jones won. She got 2,151 votes versus Brianna Sunshine Harrelson. She got 1,672 votes. Also for Killeen ISD place 3, Oliver Mintz, incumbent, got 2,116 votes, and Lan Carter got 1,000 805 votes. So both of those challengers, I appreciate them stepping up and running. I know Miss Harrelson, she's ran before, and Lan Carter has ran, and I obviously supported Lan and voted for her, had her on the show. But I do know that Lan will be back. Like I said, she's a fierce advocate for public education and for kids. So I don't see that diminishing anytime soon. So a bunch of other elections happened throughout the county that we were watching, but in Harker Heights in the news. Harker Heights has some new council members. There was one open seat, place one, because that incumbent was term limited, and Brian Burt came out on top vote getter. 811 votes for Brian Burt. Anson Booker got 489 votes, and Candace Schoaf got 124. So, Brian Burt, congratulations. Look forward to working with you. And then we have Harker Heights City Council Place 3. Incumbent Tony Cantorino lost. I repeat, Tony Cantorino lost Place 3 to Jesse Miles, a newcomer. We have Jesse coming out on top with 785 votes versus Tony Cantorino's 651. So definitely, I look forward to working with both Jesse and Brian in your new positions, Harker Heights City Council. There was also one other race that was real interesting that it was. So if you're listening to this, there is CJ Grisham. He is a local activist, gun rights activist, been doing it for a long time. He's an agitator of both Republicans and Democrats, I think. But he ran for Temple Council, City Council District 1 against incumbent Jessica Walker. And Jessica Walker won pretty handedly. She got 357 votes to CJ Grisham's 95 votes. So 79% versus 21% of the vote. So that was interesting to watch, interesting to hear about and follow. But anyways, like I said, we have a lot going on this week. We got budget stuff going on, and I definitely want to keep you informed of that. I plan on having town halls, getting people involved in their county budgeting to understand how we do it, what we do. And be keeping an eye out, ear out for those opportunities to get involved. And we will talk to you later.